Hi everyone, how's it going? I'm Tiffany. Thanks for joining me. And today I'm painting my version of a Death's Head hawk moth. So I just want to start with telling you a little bit about myself and why I wanted to start posting on YouTube. I just wanted to start sharing my full videos of me painting my art. I generally videotape all my stuff. And then I usually share on like TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. I just want to be able to have all my full-length videos here on one spot just to share with whoever wants to stick around and join me. So I'm just a small artist. I like painting skulls, bones, skeletons, anything of that nature. I also do paint animals. I do like some pet portraits, and I have done some other ones too. When I first started getting into more paintings and everything, I was starting to do paint pours. So I kind of evolved from there and figuring out what I want to do and what style I want to do. And then after that, then I kind of went into the animal aspect. Now with the last couple years, I've been focusing more on like skulls and bones and that kind of stuff and the anatomy of the animals. So I have been really interested in getting into tattooing, so my main focus was just to focus on my art and get better at painting. So I just wanted to focus on creating and making my art as best as I could. I have worked on like fake skin a bit, trying to practice. I definitely have to start practicing a bunch more though. So that will take me a bit of time. I definitely seem to get sidetracked with just creating more stuff when I get an idea of a new painting I want to do or whatever I feel like doing at that moment, if it's clay or I have so many art supplies, so it's I'm pretty open to what I can do. I definitely seem to focus more on acrylic paints, as that's what I figured out I like doing the best. I have done a few like color pencil things, and like I said, I do some clay stuff. Nothing too massive with clay. I usually just like doing like little mushrooms or making little jars into stuff, that kind of thing. I also like making different kinds of earrings, either if it's with feathers. I have been doing some resin stuff too. I have been working on some resin snakeskin pendants from when my snake shed last. I recently got hooked on making little Scrabble earrings. I made a bunch for people for Christmas, so I had a bunch of pieces left over from that. I eventually wanted to go and sell my stuff at the markets around here. I don't know how everybody else has been doing with selling their artwork online. I do have my stuff on Etsy, but I don't find I get much luck with Etsy. I don't know. I don't know how it goes for everybody else, but. Or what type of website do you use to sell your stuff online? If you guys have any suggestions, I guess leave that down in the comments. I can check that out. I feel like it's probably best to have your own website, but then you gotta just, I guess, self-promote your website, which I know Etsy pushes your stuff on different things, but then I find I get more views from my Pinterest account than what Etsy gets me, so I don't know. So I guess I should talk about my painting a little bit more. So I paint this on Strathmore acrylic paper. It's a 9 by 12. I like painting on these just because then I can put them in some of my art portfolios. It doesn't take up as much space as like doing it all on canvases. But I do have quite a few canvases I need to start painting on, so I don't know. They take up room either way, I guess. And I mostly paint with acrylic paints. I do have some oils, and I did a little bit with oil when I was first playing around with stuff, but acrylics is generally what I always come back to. So I originally had this all sketched out in my sketchbook, the layout of how I wanted to do it, and then I re-sketched it on the acrylic paper. Then I like going over it with like a wash of a color just to keep the pencil from smudging into like mixing your colors and stuff. So that's why I kind of put that yellow over just kind of sloppily just to make sure I just cover the pencil so it doesn't mix in. I find when you are using like whites and that kind of stuff, you can really see the gray mixing in. So, I mean, I don't do it in every painting, but I've been trying to do it in more than none. Then I just started with the background, so I painted that all black, did a few coats of that. A lot of times at the end I go back over the background with another coat, just So once in a while I get little splatters here or there, or you just notice it once you start staring at it more. Something I did wish I did with this painting was do the two wings that they're the same at the same time. Because I did one at a time and then I focused on just painting that one wing in my video, but I found it a little difficult to just recreate it on the other one. I mean, it didn't work out too bad. I do like how it turned out. But I could have made it a little easier on myself with all the different layers that I did. Because a lot of my paintings, I just kind of go with how I feel or kind of wing it. I'm sure there's a lot of artists that paint that's kind of goes like that. You might do something you not originally like and then end up painting over it. But I tried to remember kind of how I did the first one or how I did the layout of it and then just kind of recreate it. But in the end, it did work out fine. Just a little difficult. And then I ended up doing the same thing with the top wing, is just trying to recreate it. I see a lot of different versions of the Death Head's Hawk Moth artwork. I love a lot of them. I have done just the actual, like, what it looks like too on a couple things. I did a little wooden ornament here a couple months ago. And I also worked on a thrifted jewelry box that I did. Found it at Value Village. I spray painted it all black. I am interested in adding a little bit of gold to it. So I painted the moth on the inside of the lid, so when you open it, it's right there on display. And then I also lined the inside with some scrap fur I had. And then I took a little divider that had like little earring pendant in it, and then repainted that, and then I put that as kind of like a shelf inside. So that was pretty cool. Works really good for my plugs for my ears, so I use that for a little shelf for that to keep them nice and organized. So I really like how I did the body on this moth. So I did the spine down the middle, and then I kind of did like inspiration of ribs, but I know they don't exactly go how ribs go, but like how it turned out. I was kind of going by how the actual body looks, and it kind of divides or has little different sections and different colors going down the body. So I did the ribs kind of making those little dividers, if that makes sense to you or not, but makes sense in my own head, I guess. But it's rib inspired, I guess. So just adding the final bit of shading on the vertebrae. Then I just go in with my pencil and mark off where I want the ribs to lay. Just have a bit more guideline, so I'm just not going in like this freehand. You see I still screw up where I want to do the placement. But I find with acrylics, as long as it's not dry, I just go in with a wet brush. And you can kind of like fix where your mistakes are, and the paint comes off pretty easily, which is definitely an aspect I like about acrylic paints. It's nice it doesn't have to be permanently there. You can fix something if you want to change it. I'm realizing how much of a gap it has been since I did the top right wing compared to the left. Probably would have been a lot easier if I did one then the other, or like I said before, both at the same time, but I guess it's time to work on it now. So I just like starting with this skull. I painted so many skulls now, and I'm still not getting tired of them. So I like to start all my bone work or skulls with the unbleached titanium white. I kind of just gives it that like off-white creamy kind of color. And then I find too with the yellow ochre background, it kind of helps too to give that tone, or that yellowish tone. Then I like going in with a raw umber to start marking out my shading. And then when I get happy with that, I do different layers to get darker tones. I usually add a little bit of water into my paint to kind of do like a bit of a wash. And then to get my final dark shading, I go in with like the black. Again, water that down and fade it out to get my shading complete. Add a few cracks in the skull, and then finish off the shading. I feel like, again, it probably would have been easier for me to paint the wing first and then go back and do the skull. But I never take the easy road, I guess. This is one of my older paintings, so I always try to learn from my previous ones, obviously. It's all process and learn from your old work. Because from the length of this video, this one definitely took me longer than what it does for me now to do my paintings. Usually I've been averaging around 7 to 8 hours. Right now this one is at like 10 minutes, so about 10 hours. Plus I have another 5 minutes on this video. I do some line work once I'm done with the moth itself. Debating right now if I should include that or not, because this video is getting a little bit long now. But at this point I was really into adding a little bit of like gold accent or copper. So I think I did copper in this one. I guess I'll have to wait and see to the end of this video right at the moment. Well, I guess maybe if you want to see the rest, let me know and I can post another video of it, and I'll just do the moth for now so I can cut this video down a little bit. I am almost done just adding that last little bit on here. So I just looked it up. I did add copper lining to this one, and I also outlined the moth in copper too. I don't know how I managed to forget when I did, but I guess it's been a little bit since I actually looked at this one. I did add a little clip at the end of what the final results look like, if anyone is curious. I've been debating and putting this one in my Etsy shop and trying to sell it. I always find it hard to sell my paintings. I do have a few available in there. I do want to add more. I guess I just got to get over myself and part my ways with some of them, but I always find I just want to keep them all and decorate my home with them, but that's not an efficient way to go by trying to be an artist. Always sad to see them go, but I always generally have a video of me painting it, plus I take lots of pictures. I have gotten some like prints done just for myself so I can put it in my my art portfolio. So I just want to try to keep that up if I end up selling them. But I am getting close to the end of this video. If you stuck around this long, thank you so much. If you are interested in my work, check out my Etsy shop. I'll put it in the link below. Also, I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at Buffett Creations if you want to follow over there. Hope you stick around for more, and thanks for joining me. Bye!